If you've ever been in a space where you're feeling isolated and you're alone, or if you've ever been in a place where you've been molested and haven't had an opportunity to talk about it, or you have thoughts of suicide, behavioral health, sexual abuse is not okay. If you need help with addiction, please don't feel like you're by yourself or you're going to be judged. Please reach out to someone.
From prison to peer work, brought to you in partnership with the Pursue It If You Want It nonprofit organization. Join us as we explore these powerful narratives that not only highlight the struggles, but also celebrate the victories of individuals who have used their past as a stepping stone to build a promising future. We delve deep into the lives of individuals who have turned their experiences into powerful stories of success through the strength of resilience and peer support. Stay tuned for episodes that promise to be as enlightening as they are inspiring.
Warning, the content in this video is unfiltered and unrehearsed. Just talk naturally.
Yeah.
I don't want to lean back. I want to be like in a comfortable situation because I'll be reading.
Yeah, that's good. I'm good right there.
Talking that soft, maybe not.
Huh? No, you feel me?
Yeah, because you gotta remember these
Oh.
are lavalier mics.
Oh, okay.
They're meant to be like clipped to
right
shirts.
there. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know when they're like right here,
Yeah.
they'll rub.
Oh,
So I put them on here to keep them suspended.
I got you.
That
okay.
way you could lean in and like
hello.
Yeah,
I've arrived.
yeah, because they have noise cancellation to them.
Okay.
You know, and you never know if we get some good like pre kicking in footage.
Yeah.
I'll put it on there.
All right, for
I
sure.
might end up with some of this.
All right, for sure.
Man, I know it's been a minute. I know. Things happen. People's schedules don't align with the movement. We're all working individuals. And without further ado, this is From Prison to Peer Work. It's your boy B, aka Coach B. And I'm here today with the long overdue and awaited guest,
Thomas Jackson. How y'all doing?
Thomas Jackson, CPC. As we always do, we get right to it. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, man. So let's just start from the back. Start from can you share a few memories of your childhood?
Ah, man. Some memories from my childhood. Let's see. Growing up, I grew up in Oakland, California. And I would just remember, man, like life being tough. My mom was a single mother of 6 kids. My father was definitely part of the drug epidemic in the 80s.
Mm.
And it was tough, man. It was tough. My mom worked a lot, and tried to be present as much as he could. But, you know, um, I got to see a lot, you know, got to see a lot of drugs, addicts, drugs being dealt, murder, um, being molested by family members. Um, It's a lot, man. It was a lot. It was tough. It was tough. I grew up in foster homes, group homes, juvenile detention centers, um, mental health institutions. Um, Been through it all.
So what was your family life like growing up? Like some of the inner workings. Like was it a two parent home or?
My mom, she was married when I was younger, but I left her when I was 9.
You
And
left your mom, like got
yeah,
taken away or ran away?
no, I moved with my father
Okay.
when I was 9 years old. It was a lot, my mom, and we weren't the best of kids. We was into a lot of stuff, man. I remember sometimes we would, go from one city, from Oakland to Alameda, riding through the tunnel, you know, um, being a whole nother city, you know. Uh, it was a lot, and so me and my brother moved with my father, and when I moved with him, it was just like it was horrible, man. Like, and I can't even say that there was love. I really didn't understand what love was, and I didn't have it. I know now that I did not have it. In my father's home, he struggled with his addiction, and there was a lot of verbal abuse, physical abuse, you know, um, and just being beat. To be honest, when I was 11, you know, my father tried to run me over with a car. And I think that was when I knew, for the most part, that I just I didn't have hope. That it was when me and my brother was staying with my father. We were selling drugs to try to eat. My father would leave us $20 um, for the week for me and my brother to survive on, and so we did everything that we could to survive. Whether it was stealing, whether it was robbing people, selling drugs, you name it, we did it.
Was it just you and your brother?
With my father, yes,
You have other siblings?
I do. I got three brothers and two sisters.
So, how would you describe your neighborhood and the community in your earlier years?
Oh, it was dog eat dog. Oakland, California, ain't really a place where you got to be an adult. Like being a kid was, um, I didn't really have a childhood. I've always been an adult. I mean, my mom did the best she could. Like she would take us places and things like that. Um, and having a whole six kids, so it's few and far in between.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, but when we did, man, we had a great time. I remember she used to a lot take us. She used to take us to the park a lot, and we would just run it off. We would be at the park, man, chilling. She'd bring lunch to the park, and I think her now that I'm older, she was just trying to run our energy out so we could go to bed.
Yeah, it's a
So
tactic I use
yeah.
to this day.
Get us to the park. But yeah, she would take us to the park, man. We would have picnics. She had us in sports. She paid for us to play sports and things like that. So I can't say that a lot of my childhood with my mother, we had some great times. But when and it was tough too. I had tough times with my mom. I got, excuse my language, but I got my ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? And it was a lot different from what children deal with today. You
They're
know?
protected. I mean, that's just
Yeah,
say it like it is.
yeah,
There's a lot of protective measures on our children. So like
hmm
the era where like getting spanked, and even like I grew up in New York, right?
yeah,
Or I spent early. I wouldn't say I grew up in New York, but I
yeah,
went to elementary in New York, and I went to a school where the teachers was allowed to put their hands on you.
yeah. So then yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying.
hmm
So reading this, it's kind of like a loaded question. These aren't my questions, so I just
Okay.
wanted to say that. So, were there any significant events in your childhood that you think shaped who you are today?
Yeah. Um, one thing that shaped was being molested by my uncle, my mom's brother. I struggled with that for a lot of years of my life, man. In a way that just having confidence to really be who I am as a person, and um, really fighting the fact that the way that I grew up, if something like that happened to you, you were considered gay, and so it made me become very promiscuous as a kid with women, you know, um, and male authority, like it was just like, I'm not listening to nothing that you have to say, bro.
I don't trust you.
I don't trust you at all. You
Yeah,
know, um,
and the promiscuity was kind of like reinforcing.
my manhood, right?
Yeah,
Um, and um, church, um, church was a big thing because he was my grandfather's son. My grandfather's a deacon, and for me, I'm like, if God knew what was going on, why didn't He tell you? Because everybody says the Spirit of God knows all things, right?
yeah.
And they say that well, why didn't God tell you that? Or um, why didn't my family, protect me? my father, was an absent father. He didn't protect me, so it made me feel isolated in a world where necessarily parenting, just there was just no love. Like I just felt emotions, I wasn't allowed to have them, so I had to suppress it, because not one, out of fear that him telling me that he was going to kill me, um, when I was if I said anything, um, and two, um, just the hidden rule, like when it comes to black families in America, is that what goes on in the house stays in the house.
Yeah.
And so really going through those emotions as a kid, my father, I remember this one time, my father, he beat me so bad that I had to get into a tub, and um, I have the scar on my arm to still remember that day, and it stuck with me my entire life. It's still there, So going through those like beatings and things like that, and the day that my father tried to run me over with a car, whether he knew what he was doing or not, stuck with me, because I felt like, again, like I was alone, and at the time, like, I didn't know where my mother was. I was a kid. I was just going through life, but I had to be a man at a very young age. Also, a big significant piece of my life is my uncles, but I call them my uncles, but they were like, one was my dad's brother, but they was just all homies. There was like 13 of them, 13 to like 30 of them, literally on the block in East Oakland on 35th. And shout out to Leaders of Men Inc. Right, that's his nonprofit now. But um, those gentlemen really taught me about being a manhood, being a man. My uncle Vel, my uncle Ant. I mean, there's just so many of them to name, but those are the significant ones that I still talk to this day. And I try to, and you know, we talk about just life, respect. One of the big things that we were taught of being around men is respect. And that shaped my life and how I went through the system. Like, I will give everyone respect, but when you disrespect me, then I'm gonna make you respect me
Yeah.
or fear me, one of the two. And those
Yeah.
were the, like, in my childhood, like those were the things I fought a lot, because of who my family was, you know. So there was a lot of fights. I remember one time I lost a fight. This shaped my life. Mind you, you asked me this question, but in the third grade, I lost a fight, my first and only fight that I lost, in the third grade, and I got a whooping so bad for losing. Um, and my mother told me that we don't lose, for protecting my sister. This kid, I was in the third grade, he was in the fifth grade, much bigger than me. And I was a big kid, but he punched me. I hit this kid probably like 50 times. I'm telling you, I was trying to mop him, right,
Yeah.
at a young age, but he hit me one time so hard, bro, in my nose, in my snot box, okay, and I started leaking, and that was it. So
Yeah.
I felt like, I lost, and from there, in the fights thereafter, I really was fighting for my life.
Yeah. So I want to go back just a little bit.
Hmm.
When you talking about, I have a couple questions about
Yeah,
when you were molested.
yeah.
This was your dad's brother or your mom's brother?
This was my mom's youngest brother.
And the second question is, how long did you carry the weight of this before you were able to kind of speak about it? And because like right now, right, we're
Yeah,
here, we're 40, I'm 40, you're 39,
yeah,
and it came out so naturally. It took me aback in a way because especially in our culture, like, we're taught as black men not to even cry when somebody passes.
yeah,
Like we're taught, you know, the not to seek therapy,
yeah,
and like you said, like I can't imagine, you know, if that had happened to me, what would have been the recourse. It's like families will lean more on protecting that coming out than protecting you for having to have it happen to you.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
They would put more value on, don't let that piece of information get out into the neighborhood than the fact that you probably need some genuine love and care and empathy and ability to process.
Yeah.
So yeah, so how long was it until you were able to basically get to where you're at today? Because obviously I didn't know that going into this. I
Yeah.
never know the things that come out of the
Yeah.
mouths of the people that come on here, and that's the purpose of this: is to have this candid conversation,
Hmm.
unauthentic.
Yeah.
It's non-scripted. The questions are random, and so yeah.
I think I would say the first time I ever mentioned it was I was 19. After yeah, I was 19 years old. The first time I ever mentioned it. Um, I think that you know, getting to a place where been able to tell my story. Um, there was a man named Josh Wallace uh, that works at Pier Washington. He had told this story when I first became a peer. Well, not excuse me, when I first started working for the job that I do at the Washington Pier Network, and we had a quarterly meeting, and he told his story, and I had written my story down um, a few years prior to this, to him saying his story, and I wanted to face my story. I wanted to, so I just literally wrote it out like I was just writing a book, and part of that story, the beginning of my story was that, and I mean I cried, bro, for days, like just cried, bro, in mourning my
Youth.
innocent, yeah, my youth, my innocence, my life. Like I mourned it. And when I heard him tell his story about what had happened to him, it gave me permission to tell mine, if that
That's what
makes
peer
sense.
work's all about, man. I swear.
And so I've been telling that story ever since. If people ask me about it, I have no problems talking about it. I have no, like, it's me. Once you face your own closet of adversity and you fall in love with who you are as a person, it doesn't matter what people think. This is me. I went through this.
But
For
not only that, like to remain a victim after you're victimized is an agreement with yourself, right? But
Yeah,
also to agree to no longer be a victim
so, yeah,
is
absolutely,
also an agreement with yourself. And
absolutely.
once you made that agreement, you're able to differentiate what happened to you versus like it being a part of you because you had no fault in that. There's no accountability
Yeah,
on your part whatsoever for that having happened to you.
yeah.
And I can only imagine you carrying that around as if it was in some kind of way
My
your
fault.
fault. And then the
Yeah,
stigma that like you said
yeah,
earlier about if you come out with that, then people will perceive you as gay,
yeah,
and that's weak, and that could get you hurt and bullied
yeah.
in communities like the ones
I
we're
grew up
talking
in.
about growing up in.
Mm-hmm. a hundred
Yeah.
percent.
All
And
right.
there's a lot of just so to speak, like later on after I found out, after I've been able to tell my story, I found out like I wasn't the only one. Like, like I wasn't the only one
Like in
that,
the family.
yeah, in the family that he did this to, and not only that, but if people do know, like, where is the protection for the ones that he did it to? Like, where's the protection for them? You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of families go through this. It's more common. I've talked when I share my story, it's more common in families than people really realize, but no one talks about it. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I literally take a stand on behavioral health in youth and families and in adults, because that trauma is literally what may be causing them to have some of the adverse actions that we so-called think or disdain as a society, or think that, oh no, they're just on drugs. Like, you have no idea what the backstory is, right? And so the judgment comes in. But when you get to a place where I am, or a mindset that I am, like, yeah, I've been through this, yeah, I've done this, but you're right, I'm no longer a victim of it, right? You become the voice of not just yourself, but those who have had to hold on to something for so many years.
Yeah. All right. Um, how old were you when you first had an encounter with the law?
Woo. I was in East Oakland. I want to say I was 10. Um, I believe I had the police. I was walking down the street and the police were like, "Hey, come here," and I was like, "No," and I tried to walk away, and the cop hit me on the head with a flashlight, and this is how this knot on my head got up here, actually. But yeah, where I grew up, the cops were just, I just grew up in a rough area. It was very racist. I seen somebody get stomped pretty much to death during the Rodney King riots when I was a kid. During the '89 earthquake, like when people were driving off the bridge dying. I was there,
Yeah.
a part of that, and so um, it was just the Rodney King riots. We just had a disdain for the police, and the police had a disdain for black people where I was at.
Yeah. What's the first time you committed a crime and essentially, went,
When got caught?
yeah,
Okay. 11. Oh no. 12. So I got into a fight with this kid. I was already in a foster care in East Oakland with Stephen Portia Sumner, and I got into a fight with this kid, and they were youth pastors, and so because I just had a lot going on. This kid, he just wanted to fight me all the time, and this was something that followed me from living at my dad's house and with my uncles. Right, this me and this kid, he used to just want to fight me all the time, but his dad was beating him because he would lose to fighting with me, and so his father would beat him and make him fight me all the time, even though we would try to be friends. His dad would still make him fight me, and so when he found out where I lived in the foster home around the corner, he was at the door, kicking their door. And I'm like, well, I have to protect them, because that's how I learned, like, protect your household. So I have to protect these people that were trying to help me. And I went out into the streets and was beating them up in the streets. And then they called the actual pastor of the church called his mom called the police, and the police came, and then they took me, and so I got locked up, and there goes my tour to
juvenile
incarceration.
system.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, how did your early experiences with crime impact your life at that time? So, kind of what happens next?
I'm in the system, uh, and I mean, I just became numb. Like I just became numb. I don't really think I had an emotion, like a true emotion, till I had my son. He's 29. I tried to. I've laughed. I was happy. I mean, but underneath, like there was this wall that my emotional state, but I was never truly happy.
It's like you were showing emotions, but you weren't experiencing them.
Yeah, like it was like I was almost like an out of body, like watching my life, like
Yeah.
the whole time,
Mm.
and that's just what shaped. It was like it. I just turned into this. I don't care at all about a single life. I didn't care. I didn't even care about mine.
Yeah. When did you first come into contact with drugs or alcohol?
As far back as can remember, um, 5 years old, I went on a fishing trip with my dad, and I had a beer. Um, the next time I can remember, I think I was in the second or third grade. We were walking down the street with some of the older kids, and they had a bottle of E&J, and we were drinking
Mm.
some Irk and Jerk back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, that was it. Hmm.
So, what led you to start using?
Using, um, I just, to be honest, at first it was more so as a kid. I would say it was just a thing to do. Like it's not. It was like part of the culture. Like in
I
Oakland,
was
like
just gonna say, yeah, it
yeah,
was just culturally acceptable.
yeah, to drink, to pop a Thiz pill. You know, Thiz Nation was a big thing. You know, smoke weed. You know, and um and also to escape. You know what I'm saying?
That almost leads into the next question, which asks, can you describe your drug of choice and what it did for you emotionally or physically?
You know,
I
I
mean, when
really
you
never
say
had.
escape, that's kind of like emotionally, right?
No, just not even emotionally. Just escape from the world. Like I hated people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I didn't. I hated people in general. Like I didn't trust nobody. I didn't want to be around nobody really. I mean, even to this day, I'm kind of a introvert. Most people wouldn't think that I'm introverted, but when I'm not working, like I'm at home.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you said, you're able to express feelings. So you were
Yeah.
like mimicking feelings, but you weren't feeling them.
Yeah.
You weren't experiencing them. So
Hmm.
you can perform,
Yeah.
right? And so it makes sense to me, at least,
Yeah.
knowing what I know,
Yeah.
when you're fighting those dark battles inside,
Hmm.
especially in light of what happened,
Yeah. It's
right?
like you got to put your best foot forward. You always got to look nice, dress nice, smile. But now more so, it's because I get so emotionally charged. I get emotionally drained the same when I'm
Yeah.
around
Okay.
people all the time. So I have to take that time to really breathe, and just take a moment to myself.
So how did your substance use affect your relationships and career aspirations?
It didn't actually. Relationships, as far as drinking, like partying, goes, like we just that was my lifestyle. Like I was doing everything in the streets that you could think about that could be done. I did it.
Yeah.
I wanted to experience. I wanted to be at the top of my game, which I was, for a while. Um, you know, before I went to prison, I was at the top of my game. I was living it up. I was him. And so people mention my name and they're like, "Oh no, I'm good." Like I don't want no smoke with him because they just knew that because I did not care. It was like when you deal with me, you risking it all.
Yeah, there's a level, and I can relate because I've
Hmm.
been there. There's a level of freedom that comes with truly living in a space of like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you actually live in that space and you're not just saying it or
Hmm.
rapping about it, it's a very lonely and scary place because you
Yeah,
find yourself, at least speaking from myself, I found myself scared of myself.
yeah, yeah. And that's a lot of the reasons why I make choices that I make for my son now, like, and make for myself. Like I don't need to be in spaces where people are not emotionally controlled, where they can't control their emotions, like going to clubs. Like yes, I've been to, some hole in the wall places in my life, but going to clubs or going where I know that people don't know how to control their alcohol or control their, addictions, or be in spaces where people are angry all the time, like because I know the darkest parts of life. I don't want to go revisit that. I've lived it.
Yeah. At what point did you realize that your substance use was a problem?
Uh, to be honest, I never really struggled with addiction. I didn't. I think it was like a mental block with my father because he was addicted. I was always afraid. Now, have I tried a lot of stuff? Yeah, I have. But I just never allowed myself. It was like a mental block. I never allowed myself to go too far, you know?
Yeah. I
Uh
could relate. I could relate
yeah.
to that. I could relate.
And just like if I even remotely felt like it was too much, I just stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, because and it's subjective because sometimes I often refer to my personal experience with Molly as the time I almost got addicted, right?
Yeah.
Because I was doing it in a way where one person, and
Hmm.
that person isn't even alive today, knew that I was even, and it was like during the summertime, so it was
Yeah.
like 70-ish, 90 days
Hmm.
where I was waking up and popping one, right?
Yeah.
And that was how I functioned for that 70, 80 day period.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I was in like treatment in the feds, some of that came out. And I thought, in retrospect, hmm, maybe I was addicted to that. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe if there
Yeah.
was something for me to be addicted to, it would have or could have been that.
Okay, I could tell you that.
And so the issue that I mean, the potential issue was, or maybe the saving grace in that for me
Yeah.
was that it was seasonal. That particular brand, if you will, right, was
Hmm.
seasonal. So I only did it because I was aware of what was in it, where it came from, and I
Hmm.
trusted the source. But it
Yeah.
was only around for 3 months at a time. But when it came around, I did it until it was gone. Right. That's and so there are just things like that, right? I wonder if it was around year round, would I have become like every day, you know? But
I could tell you one situation where I think I could have definitely gotten addicted to cocaine because I liked it. That's the only thing that really in my mind. Like I used to, you know, um, I tried it a few times. I'm like, damn, this is, I'm going to I'm partying all night,
yeah.
like right. And I didn't realize how many people do cocaine. I did not
Hmm.
until I tried it myself. Like I know, like before I've sold it, but it's different from when you sell it and don't do it to when you actually do it and sell it,
Yeah, because you
and
have it
because you have it right
all the time.
all the time. And the people that I think there was just the thrill of the company. I was, if I could say I was addicted to anything, I think I was addicted to the lifestyle, right? Addicted to money, addicted to fast money. I literally did some things that I regret.
Yeah, the lifestyle itself is very much an addiction to many,
Yeah,
definitely, because then it kind of umbrellas all the things.
yeah, fast money. Yeah,
Yeah, driving
partying
fast,
fast. Yeah,
driving without a license,
not caring. Yeah,
like speeding everywhere because you didn't
yeah,
care, having a pistol like on you or
yeah.
under your seat. Just the whole living on the edge is like a 24/7 adrenaline rush.
I was addicted to the edge. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was
Because
addicted
like
to the edge.
I'd say I was about 15, and my experience with cocaine was short lived.
Hmm.
Someone introduced it to me when I was like angry. I remember I was getting jealous over a situation with my young girlfriend at the time, and I was about to fight somebody close to me, and an older relative of mine was like pulled me in the bathroom, was like, "Calm down, here, take this." And he did it, and he showed me, and I did it, and I was like, "Oh, like you, I liked it."
Yeah.
And it wasn't very much longer where I was doing it regularly, and
Hmm.
then one morning I woke up and there's a huge puddle of blood on the pillow. And when I realized it came from my nose, I never did it again.
Yeah.
I got scared to
Yeah.
like that was it. I'm like, is that my brain? Like I
Yeah.
was like freaked out about it.
Yeah. I did it one
It was
time.
short lived.
I almost overdosed one time, and that's like I could feel my heart racing for hours, and I couldn't calm down. And I mean, I was doing it all night, like just at a party all night, nonstop. Like I could have easily, my heart could have easily exploded with as much as I did. I obviously I know that I'm meant to be here because with the amount that I did, um, I should be dead. And so, and that's what made me stop. I was just like, I don't really want to die.
Yeah. How many times were you incarcerated? Roughly.
Well, I was incarcerated. Well, what do you mean by incarcerated? Because I was in, like I said, group home, juvenile detention, group homes, foster homes, juvenile detention centers.
I'm gonna say that answers the question.
I've been to jail and prison.
Yeah.
So.
So, what was your longest prison term? And if you don't mind sharing, what was it for?
33 months, two assault threes on the police, a hit and run on a cop, and an assault with a deadly weapon.
Did you participate in any rehabilitation programs while incarcerated?
I went to school, went to Partners in Parenting, went to anger management, um, did did some college, graphic design,
Okay.
did institutional sanitation there. Yeah, I figured I don't want to be in a cell, and I don't really like being around all these dudes. So
You're
the best,
signing up for everything.
so I could see some ladies. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who are the most influential people in your journey towards recovery?
Well, my recovery is more of a mental health. Sorry, mental health recovery, and I want to say that God rest his soul is my uncle Arthur Marcus Duran Thomas. Um, he he was just a great man. Like he was my I call him my father. Um, he just taught me everything about manhood. The person that people see today, being authentically myself, not worrying about what people think about you, standing on you versus anything, doing, doing all that you can and no more, no less, right?
Mm,
Not worrying about what people are going to be in your life because you came here alone and you're going to die alone, you know? Um, Pick your dream and go for it. Another one is Erica Dennehy. She was my mentor, my first supervisor at Thurston Mason Behavioral Health. And she said, Thomas, what do you want to do with your life? Like, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? And she said, decide the person that you want to be. And every decision that you make after that has to be toward that life. Otherwise, you'll never be happy. And my life has skyrocketed ever since,
yeah, that sounds like pursue it if you want it.
pretty much. That is really what it is if you want it, go get it. Put the
Hmm.
blind. You don't even have to put the blinders on. You need to be able to see the things that are outside of of the windows. You have to have a peripheral vision so you can see what's coming at you. But don't pay it no never mind. Take it with a grain of salt and keep going forward. You know,
Yeah.
straight up. You got to go get it. You got to go get it.
Every decision you make should be towards that life. So pursue it. 365.
365 days a year.
How you like your hoodie?
Oh, I love it, man. I love both of them actually.
That's right. You got two.
Yeah, I love both
Yeah.
of them.
Okay. What were the biggest challenges you faced during your recovery process?
I would say secondary trauma. Secondary trauma. So I had my uncle, who was like my father. He actually completed suicide, and um, I was working with this gentleman, and people were like, "Man, we cannot get this guy to go to treatment." Da, 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 da. And he was a fellow veteran, as I am a veteran myself, and so I kind of talked to him and just became his friend, which was not in my job description to do, but we just became close because I understood. And we got him to get into this really nice treatment center, and he went. And I told him when he came back that he wasn't gonna be on my caseload because I was moving to a different department. And when he came back, he completed suicide, and I was so depressed, like I would just cry out of the blue, and just I was hurt, and I
Yeah.
I blame myself because I'm like, man, if I would have stayed, you know, if he would have still felt like he had me there, like maybe he wouldn't have, or you know, was me abandoned? Did he feel abandoned by me? You know, and it just brought up the emotions of my, Uncle Pops. And I struggled with that. I struggled. Another one was living in the house. The home that I had lived in as a certified peer counselor. The people sold the home, and so I moved in to this place, was renting out a room, and then that guy sold his home. And so I finally moved into this place where this lady was like, "Yeah, I got a really cheap room." So I moved there. Come to find out, about a month into it, that I moved into a crack house. And so I'm going to work every day as a certified peer counselor. And most people don't even know this about my story, that I'm going to work every day at a crack house, out of a crack house. I just got into a car accident, two of them, and I'm staying in this crack house, going to work as a certified peer counselor, and trying to hold my mental health together. I think those were and this all happened in a matter of months.
Hercules.
I wouldn't say that. Thomas Jackson is
You survived.
yeah, survived it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, can you describe your current role and responsibilities in peer support?
Yeah. Um,
Let's talk about the WPN. I mean, this is a perfect time to
yeah,
slide in it, right?
I know, right? Yeah, yeah. So I'm the program director for the Washington Peer Counselor Network. Um, I love it. Like, so before I got this position in the work that I do now, like what we were able to build as a team, they've been trying to build for 20 years, and we were able to build the Washington Peer Network in a matter of months. And so for me to be able to give support to peers in the workforce, for individuals, we just launched a jobs database that now allows peers to have a trauma informed space to look for work. And individual companies that hire peers are able to go on there and post jobs for peers across the state of Washington. I mean, it's like a dream come true. I guess so.
Yeah,
I know you can probably see it in my face,
it
right?
is.
Like,
I mean, I
yeah,
already know. I know.
yeah,
They don't know. We on the same team.
yeah,
We we
yeah,
we have office space together. Like
yeah, yes,
it's
yes.
real. This is a long waited. This is my house. Like Thomas came out to visit, and we're like, "Yo, remember that from Prison to Peer Work interview?
Let's do it.
Let's do it." And so we're doing
Yeah,
it.
let's get to work,
Let's
bro.
get to work on a Sunday after
Yes,
dinner.
yes,
Shout out to my wife Lacey
yes.
for cooking for us.
Shout out to Lacey for real, man. For real.
Yeah. So, how did you maintain your motivation to change?
I can tell you that, and people always ask me where did it come from. It was the day that my son was born. I held him into my arms and I cried for the first time out of love. I never knew what love was until then. I never knew what a true raw emotion was until then. And it took me a while to really understand the emotions that I were feeling for him. Because I'm like, why am I crying because he crying? Like, this don't even make sense to me. Like, I felt off, you know. I felt like something was wrong with me. Right? For real. Because I was like, bruh, okay, you getting a little soft,
Hmm.
but it was the smile when he smiled, like, it was so pure to me. It was so pure. And
That the mosquitoes trying to kill me.
yeah. And I heard him coo
Mm.
for the first time. And I was like, man, I am so in love with my son. Like, I love you, man, more than anything. I felt my purpose come to me. It was to be the best possible person that I could be for him. And when I learned how to do it for him, I asked myself, like, I want this for me. I don't want to just feel like this for him. I want to feel like this for me. I want to love me like that.
Yeah.
And so I did classes, I did trainings, I did therapy, still in therapy. I love it. A space for me to be able to clean out my closet consistently without judgment. And so because I still go through things emotionally, right? We all do,
Of
right?
course.
And so
Of course.
um, when I started loving on me, it became apparent that most people who go through these things have trauma that they have not dealt with. And it's hard for them to get past that. And so I try to love everybody. I love people. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Such a 180, right?
such a yeah.
And the artist in me is like, so it became apparent when you became a parent.
a, a parent. That's it. It's apparent when you become a parent. Okay? I feel lock that in, bro. Lock that in. Okay. Okay, I'm not doing this all night. You hear me? Yeah, for real. Absolutely. It did become apparent when I became a parent, for sure.
All right. So, how do you measure success today compared to before your transformation?
Um, Success is whatever I say it is at this
Facts.
point.
I mean, there
You
it
know,
is.
before um, society sets a level of precedence or success, that a bar for success, that you have to do this to be successful, or you have to have this to be successful. Um, and the true success is only measured by what you believe it's to be measured by. And
There
me,
it
I'm
is.
successful every day.
Me too. Real for real.
I see it. I'm here because of your success.
Is there a message or principle you live by now that keeps you focused?
You can only do what you can do. No more, no less.
Mic drop. Um, how do you hope to inspire others with your story?
I just, I really want people to, I know it's a very hard thing to do, but I want people to be inspired in the fashion that they take a moment to really go through their closet of adversity and really work on loving themselves so that they can love their partners, their children, the people around them the correct way. And I'm not just saying that my level of loving me is the perfect way to love somebody, but it makes life a lot brighter for you when you come from such a dark place.
Yeah. All right, last question, and then I'll give you three my way. That's how we always do it.
Okay, I don't know what three my way is, but we're gonna
Three
learn.
questions you get to ask me.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Fair enough.
off the top.
Off the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what are your goals for the next 5 years? Is the final question for you?
What are my goals for the next 5 years? Man, wow.
You can
Um,
be broad because I know some of your goals might require what's that called? The thing where you sign that you won't talk about it with someone else and they get to
yeah, an
steal it.
NDA? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
that part.
yeah,
Non-disclosure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I know some of your goals would require that.
Yes.
So maybe just broadly answer.
So I think that one of my biggest goals is to be in a place where our youth are getting educated in a way that is conducive to their mental health future so that they can navigate mentally strong. Another one would be parents in families getting the support that they need so that they can parent in ways that is conducive to their children's mental health futures, and also helping them be sustaining in their own mental health. Um, I think that working in to help people help to get um, sustainable care after they leave treatment centers or incarceration, and be in a place where they can actually have people to be around them and a place to live so that they can be successful. It's very hard when you're in survivor mode to say, "Hey, I need to go get an ID." No one cares about an ID if I haven't eaten for 3 days or have nowhere to stay, right? And so, um, really pushing for those things to happen, and also bringing the mental health and behavioral health and substance use disorder agencies together in this state. I think it's super important, and that's my heart work. That's my heart's work is to see, behavioral health institutions and substance use disorder agencies come together so that they can work collectively versus siloed,
Hmm.
as it's been for a while.
Easter eggs aplenty here, FYI. That's his heart work.
Yeah.
All right, you got three, and then this is a special episode. So after you ask me three, I'm gonna just ask you to record a special message for the outro of this.
Okay.
But
Um, 3-year way. What would you say is the biggest struggle for communities in this state?
the biggest struggle, well, in my opinion, the
Hmm.
biggest struggle for communities in this state is genuine collaboration.
Yeah.
I think even in the nonprofit space, you still find competition like your car salesman.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like if we really genuinely have the same mission, why you mad, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Why would you create barriers or not want to connect with another org doing the exact same or
Same.
very similar thing than you,
Hmm.
because together is better.
Yes.
So, and I'll leave it at that. I genuinely believe that, more collaboration is what's needed, but genuine collaboration, not just tagging each other on Facebook or giving each other a few dollars and saying that you're doing something together, but really like the executive directors or the founding directors or the people that
Hmm.
can make mountains move coming together and then it trickling
Hmm.
down. Like, you know what? So everyone knows, even on an entry level, that they're partners with this particular org and
Absolutely.
that their mission is my mission.
Yeah.
That type of collaboration,
I
that
like that.
that's infrastructure all the way through and out, and not just surface level social media collaboration.
Yeah, I like that. 100%. And I 100% agree with that. And if you ever need me to back you up in any space behind that, I'm there. Um, my next question. Let's go a little deep here.
And shout out to Healing Hearts Ranch, FYI.
Yeah, shout out.
I just want to model that real quick. We're definitely going to connect.
Yes.
I was just there earlier today. I met a horse, and I
Yeah.
love I love the mission. So yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like genuine collaboration, meeting, in somebody's
Yeah.
house informally, like really
Yeah.
having a conversation person to person,
Yes,
and not like,
absolutely.
oh, we got to do this Zoom thing. It's got to go through these channels. Like, you're a person, I'm a person.
Let's get human.
Let's get human. That
Let's,
sounds like a t-shirt slogan.
it sure does. Let's work on that.
Lock that in.
Let's get human, right?
Let's get
Yes.
human.
Yes. I like that. I like that.
All right, you got two more, and
All
then we're
right.
gonna
You
wrap
ready?
this part up. I'm
You
always ready, man.
okay. What is the biggest adversity in your youth that you've had to face that has shaped you into the person that you are?
In my youth, it would probably be being misunderstood and invisible, right?
Mm,
So being a young black male and having an emotion, and the need being completely overlooked and immediately going to some type of diagnosis or label.
mm-hmm,
You're angry, you're, oppositional defiant disorder, or you're having intermittent explosive disorder episodes,
mm-hmm,
or you're ADD, and not really being looked at deeper than just how can I label this kid and get him out the way?
Yeah.
To me, that was the biggest adversity coming from New York to Lacey, Washington, and then the culture shock,
Yeah.
like open and belligerent racism
Hmm.
against me at like 12 years old.
Yeah.
So that really deeply set in me for a lot of years, and it took a lot of work to get to where I am today.
Okay. I got to tell you, man, I thank you for sharing that. That takes a lot of power for somebody to really go back into their story and share that. So thank you. Um, my last question: what do you want to do the next 5 years?
I'm already doing it. I just talked about this, and it's one of the first times in my life when I've been asked a question about my future is, and to me, not having an answer about what I want to do in the future is the epitome of being at peace. Being able to live in the now
Mm,
because I'm happy. And I know that all the steps I'm taking are in the right direction. So I don't necessarily have like a plan. I just know that what I'm doing now is going to facilitate whatever I'm doing then. But right now, it's good enough.
that's perfect, man. That's like that answer could not get any better than that. As long as you're happy, that's what matters.
It is. It truly is. Blessings on blessings.
On blessings. On blessings.